Hello everyone! Welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Teresa Giudice quits Special Forces amid brutal challenge for daughter. Season 4 of Special Forces, World's Toughest Test is unlike anything viewers have seen before. For the first time in the show's history, the all-star cast includes celebrities who are related to each other. One of these dynamic duos is the Real Housewives of New Jersey icon Teresa Giudice and her daughter Giudice. The two have always been close. But that won't help them on this show. In fact, they are competing against each other and can't help each other. This puts their mother-daughter bond to the test. Something that Teresa apparently wasn't ready for in Season 4. Episode 2, the remaining contestants were given their next challenge, combat. The staff paired them up in teams of 2 and made them fight each other. It quickly became Gia's turn to step up in the ring, and Teresa instantly starts squirming. Before her daughter's opponent is even chosen, Teresa rips her number band off of her arm and voluntarily withdraws. The reasoning she gave was that she just couldn't handle seeing her daughter in that position. "I'm not a quitter. But it's going to be hard for me to not be able to step in if Gia's in a vulnerable position. I just want to protect her," she explains in the episode. Her mother's sudden departure immediately causes Gia to break down in tears. She ultimately did fight, but lost to soccer player Christy Pierce Rampone. Teresa's exit marks the second cast member to leave Season 4. And the second Bravo star. The first to withdraw was the Valley fan favorite Brittany Cartwright. After her triggering experience in the first episode, Teresa Giudice has flipped tables, battled legal storms, and survived 13 seasons of The Real Housewives of New Jersey. But it turns out even the Queen of Chaos has her breaking point, and it came when the mission was no longer about her, but about her daughter. The latest episode of Special Forces, World's Toughest Test, delivered one of the most emotional exits in the show's history as Teresa announced her decision to withdraw after a brutal challenge involving her daughter, Giudice. Viewers tuned in expecting mud, screams, and military mayhem, but instead got a raw moment of maternal instinct overpowering sheer grit. It all began with the DS directing staff ordering the recruits into a simulated hostage scenario. Blindfolded, restrained, and disoriented, the celebrities were forced to listen as recordings of their loved ones echoed through the pitch-black chamber, while most contestants heard encouraging words. Teresa's recording was different. Was Gia panicking? "Mommy, please, make it stop." The voice wasn't actually Giette, was an edited reenactment designed to test psychological endurance. But Teresa didn't know that. One second she was Teresa Giudice, reality star warrior. And the next she was Teresa Giudice, mother bear in distress. Her breathing changed. Her fists trembled. The instructors barked at her to stay in formation, to hold the line. But she wasn't listening. She was hearing Gia at 8 years old, clutching her hand in a courtroom hallway, asking if they were going to be okay. She was hearing Gia at 15, crying when her dad was deported. She was hearing every sacrifice she'd made for her daughter's DS. "I'm done," Teresa said, voice cracking. One of the instructors dared to challenge her. "You're quitting over a voice in your head." Teresa lifted her chin with that signature Giudice glare. "I'll crawl through mud. I'll jump out of planes. But don't use my daughter against me. I'm not signing up for that." And just like that, she walked out. No dramatics. No tantrum. No table flip. Just a mother who knew where to draw the line. Back at base camp. The debates began instantly among the other recruits. "Was she weak?" one asked. "No," another replied firmly. She was human. Even viewers online were fiercely divided. Some insisted she should have powered through, that Special Forces is built on breaking mental barriers. Others applauded her for refusing to let trauma be commodified for entertainment. But here's the truth. Teresa didn't lose. She chose this wasn't a meltdown. It was a surgical decision. A woman who had spent years having her family exploited on television finally said, "Not this time." Later in her exit interview, Teresa spoke directly to the camera, tears finally spilling. I came here to prove I'm strong, she said. But I've already proven that. I've survived prison. I've survived losing my parents. I've survived my marriage ending. I don't need to survive them pretending my daughter is in danger. That's not strength. That's torture. She paused. If Gia is watching, I want her to know I left for you. And I'd do it 100 times again. Some contestants leave special forces in shame. Teresa left an armor dot in a world where reality stars are often accused of choosing fame over family. Teresa made a different move. She didn't quit the challenge, she won her own. Not by enduring, but by refusing. And that may be the toughest test of all. Teresa Giudice has never been one to back down from a challenge. From flipping tables on The Real Housewives of New Jersey to navigating high-profile legal battles and rebuilding her life from the ashes. She has long been celebrated as a warrior in heels. But even warriors have limits, and on Special Forces, World's Toughest Test, Teresa finally met hers. The grueling reality competition series is notorious for pushing celebrities beyond their physical, mental, and emotional limits. No glam squads, no assistants, no designer bags, just dirt, exhaustion, and relentless military-style punishment. For weeks, Teresa had stunned viewers by outperforming athletes, actors, and influencers half her age. She carried sandbags through mud pits, plunged into freezing waters, and ran through combat drills like her life depended on it. But then came the mission. The one that broke her. It wasn't the mud. It wasn't the cold. It wasn't even the pain. It was GIA. The challenge was simple in theory, but devastating in execution. The recruits were asked to write final goodbye letters to their loved ones, letters meant to be read only if they died in action. A mental exercise designed to strip away ego and expose raw humanity. When Teresa sat in that dimly lit bunker with just a pen, paper, and silence, years of suppressed trauma began to resurface. She stared at the name. She wrote at the top of the page, Gia, her oldest daughter. Her best friend. Her anchor through every storm. Suddenly, she wasn't a contestant anymore. She wasn't a housewife or a reality icon. She was a mother who had already missed too much, and she couldn't bear the thought of pretending to leave. Gia again, even hypothetically. Tears splattered the page before a single sentence was written. Cameras rolled quietly as Teresa whispered to herself, I can't do this. I've already said goodbye once. Never again. The next morning, she handed over her badge. I'm tapping out, she told the directing staff. No theatrics. No apologies. Just clarity. I came here to prove I was strong. But my strength is being a mom. That's where I need to be. Back at the base camp, her fellow recruits gathered around her. Some were shocked. Others nodded knowingly. In a show built on bravado and resilience, 'twas her vulnerability that hit hardest. I thought nothing could break her, one recruit murmured. But love did. As she walked away from the barracks, the cameras followed her silhouette, smaller without the camouflage gear, yet somehow larger in spirit. She wasn't quitting. She was choosing. GIA reacted the moment the exit aired nationwide. Posting an emotional tribute on Instagram, she wrote, My mom has survived prison, grief, betrayal, and public shame, and she still stands. If walking away from something protects her heart, I support her 100%. She didn't quit. She put her family first. That's real strength. Thousands agreed. Fans flooded social media with messages of solidarity, praising Teresa not for enduring physical pain, but for knowing when to stop. Only Teresa Giudice could leave a military challenge and still look like a hero. One viewer tweeted, she's been through worse than special forces she just didn't get a medal for. Another added. So what's next for Teresa? Sources close to her say she doesn't regret a moment of the grueling experience. But she has no plans to return for redemption. She's already earned her badge in life. One insider shared. She didn't come to win. She came to prove to herself she could do it. Once she realized she didn't need to, she walked away. And maybe that's the real lesson. Strength isn't just about pushing through. Sometimes it's about stepping back. Sometimes quitting isn't weakness. it's wisdom. Teresa Giudice may have left special forces, but she didn't leave defeated. She left whole. She left honest. She left as Gia's mom.